Just booked in an appointment for a viewing on this Nissan Note, and I do work by all appointment now. I mean, people can pop up here, but if people message me and say, can I come and look at the Nissan Note on Saturday, I'll say, yeah, what time? We book at our windows. What time would you like to come? And they'll put something, oh, we're thinking around about lunchtime. And I'll be, no, it'll need to be a specific hour. And I said something like this in a video the other day, and there was a comment came back saying, I'd never go to a dealership that was appointment only because it gives them a chance to get the car warmed up or do stuff to the car. I want to turn up and surprise them to see exactly what it's like. And I thought, what a strange comment that is, really. For starters, if you are so distrusting of a car dealer, then to that extent that you wouldn't turn up because you think they're going to fiddle with it before you get there, why buy from a car dealership at all? Just go and buy the car private. Go and buy the car private. Doesn't make any sense to go out and do business with someone you don't trust in the first place, is it? Secondly, why would you want to turn up at a dealership like mine, where potentially only I'm here, and then have to wait an hour for someone to be free to take you for a test drive in a car you're interested in? Aren't you going to be more naffed off that you're left hovering around the place with no one talking to you, no one engaging with you, and so forth? Then, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You'd want to just stand around and potentially waste however long a journey it took you to get there, just because you want to try and surprise the dealer. Because then it's going to be not that his cars weren't right, it'll be like, oh, I got ignored while I was there, no one spoke to me. It's like, yeah, because I'd be dealing with the customer that had actually booked an appointment, and they deserve my attention because they took the time to do that. So yeah, I just thought it's a really strange comment. I mean, yes, I'm cleaning this car before they come to see it. I could leave it dirty if they want to see it dirty. That's how it has been from sitting out here for a week. But sure, you'd want to see a dealer took a bit of pride in the car before you got there, wouldn't you? Anyway, I'm finding increasingly that dealers are moving to appointment only because everybody's time's valuable now. I had 2 appointments booked yesterday, and I messaged both of them an hour before to check they were coming, and one of them cancelled immediately and the other didn't respond until half hour afterwards to cancel. Your time does get wasted, and yes, that's part of playing the game, but I don't see any problem with trying to minimise the amount of time of your time that gets wasted, because in that scenario yesterday I was due to go and pick some cars up. I could have done it a couple of hours earlier than planned, or an hour or so earlier than planned, had I known they weren't coming. And in both occasions I had to prompt them to tell me they weren't going to come, rather than them simply message me and say plans have changed, we're not coming now. It's not a problem they're not coming, it's a problem they're not letting me know they're not coming. That is the problem. And like I say, we could book other appointments in at that point as well. We're prepping another car, go and pick cars up. So that is why dealers do work by appointment. I mean, plus everybody wants a good quality of life now, don't they? So if I've got a Saturday and there's no appointments booked, I can choose to spend the time with my family instead, can't I? Rather than coming in and sitting around on the off chance. And yes, I might miss a walk on sale, but at the end of the day, I don't think you get on your deathbed and worry, wish I'd sold one more Nissan Note on a Saturday rather than spend it with your family, eh? I'd also point out, of course, if you're looking to buy a car privately, you wouldn't be able to just turn up out of the blue. You'd have to set a time, and I can absolutely guarantee you they would be giving it a clean and starting it up before you got there. Just been and picked up a couple of cheapies, the last couple of cars from the main dealer part exchanges before they start putting them on out to Mannheim. We've got a 13 plate i20 1.2 and a 13 plate, what is this, a Seed 1.6 diesel. That has done 138,000 miles. That's done 86,000 miles. This one is not going to be a retail car, I don't think. We've checked the oil, and the oil looks like it's got too much in there by quite a lot, which leads us to believe we might have a leak down from an injector, and it smells quite diesel when you start it up. That said, it drives really well. I drove it back here. It drives really well. So performance wise, you know, suspension, brakes, all seems pretty good. I think the thing to do with this one let's just be straight about it. So with a car like this, you put it up on like Facebook Marketplace, you make it very cheap, and you list the things you found with it. And then what I normally do, if someone comes here to look at the car, I say, look, take it away, drive it for a few days. If you've got any concerns about anything, bring it back to me. But we're not warranting it, we're not guaranteeing it. And, you know, as long as it's roadworthy and, you know, it can get you back and forth to work, that kind of thing, that's where we are with it. And normally people are pretty cool about that. Normally people are pretty cool. You've got to pick and choose who you sell to like that. But I always say, yeah, just drive it for a couple of days. If you have any concerns, bring it back. After that, you know, you've bought it cheaply. There will be some maintenance to do, but that will be down to you. And then I tend to put on the invoice what the retail value of the car is, and then what I'm selling it for, and list the faults that I'm aware of at the time. And that seems to have served me fairly well to date. I mean, obviously, you're going to, at some point, get someone who tries to have their cake and eat it, tries to have it cheaply and then have you fix things afterwards. But as long as you downplay it, you don't want to play it. You want to undersell and over deliver. So, you know, downplay it, list all the bits and bobs on it you think that you're aware of. Tell them they should expect to have to spend a little bit of money on it, and if they don't, then they think you're great. But it's certainly not a car worth spending any time on. It's better just being sold off cheap. The i20, on the other hand, they are good cars. We know they're pretty darn reliable. Don't tend to have problems with them. This one's a little bit tappety as well, but if you've been watching the channel recently, the last 3 ones we've had in are a bit like that, and they just tend to get like a bit of a hollow tappety noise as they get older. I think they get a bit of wear in the buckets on the rockers or something like that. But the engines will last forever like that. This one's not as bad as one of the red one we sold recently, or the little i10 we got in. This is fairly early stages of that, but they'll go on forever, go well over 100,000 miles doing that. Everything else is simple to fix. The mileage is okay. It's a 13 plate. It's got a decent amount of retail value, so it's probably about a £3,000 car all cleaned up. Now, I said before, if anybody's saying, oh, you know, why buy it at all? Well, it's because if you want a relationship with main dealers, if you want a relationship with any dealers, you've got to be a very easy person to do business with and take everything away, get it away, and then sort it out at your place what you're going to do with it. They know they're not worth a lot of money. They've probably written both these, well, especially this one, they've probably written this back to something like 0 on their book. So any money they get out of it, they're going to be happy with. They just want it off their lot, not taking up space and gone. And they don't want to hear anything about it afterwards. Never speak to them after about it. If it blows up on the way home, never say a word about it. Everybody in the car game has got enough on their plate dealing with consumers than they have adding an element of a trader whinging on in the background as well. Pick this up as a part exchange against the Audi A1. This is North Devon's hottest commodity, a cheap Polo. You literally get asked for a Polo every other day by someone for their kid's first car. Normally they'd like to have the later shape ones, but they're so expensive, Polos, compared to other cars, that any Polo normally they'll be happy with. This is a 1.2. It starts up lovely. It's because obviously you've got to watch them for chain rattle. It starts up absolutely lovely, no chain rattle at all, and the interior is immaculate on it. The interior is fantastic. It's got a great service history. The mileage is about 80,000, but yeah, look at these seats. No water staining, no marks at all. Someone really looked after this. Bodywork's not too bad either. Some lacquer peel up on the top of the wing there, some lacquer peel down there, but the MOTs don't read horrendous on it either. Now obviously I'm going to make no money out of this at all, because on my first place on my long list of friends is my mate Frank, who wants one for his daughter. I say I've always got 1,000,001 people want a Polo if they can get their hands on one cheap. It's a good friend of mine, so we're going to let them have it for what it owes us for, although I think it's very likely he's going to rope me into doing this wing for him to tidy that up, and a few other bits and bobs, so he might have to pay a little bit more on top for anything else he wants to do, and obviously we'll check it over for safety. And he might decide he wants a new ticket on, things like that. But I think tidy that wing up, give it a good old clean, touching that bit up the front there. It'll be a respectable little Polo. But I can't imagine there's a 58 plate out there with an interior that clean, or not many with an interior that clean. But Polos, yeah, if you are starting out in this game and you can get your hands on Polos, especially in Devon, you'll do all right. So that's the end of a Saturday. We sold the Nissan Note. We had callbacks today and have sold the Kia Ceed over there. What was the other thing we sold as well? We invoiced something else out. I'm standing right by it. We sold the Hyundai i10. That gentleman didn't really know what he wanted. He was a bit all over the place, and he told me that he wanted a small 4x4 type vehicle like the Fiat Panda, and ended up with a Hyundai i10. But he took it for a test drive, was very happy. He said he wanted something ultra low running costs. This is the 23,000 mile one we got off our subscriber. Only thing is he broke the aerial on the test drive. I'm not sure how he managed to do that. He broke it off underneath a tree. So, but it does look to me like possibly it was glued on. Looks like someone's bonded that on. It doesn't look like a... So I've ordered a new one of those anyway. We'll just swap that out. So that's those 3 cars. We sold any other cars I haven't told you about. That'll do for the moment. The winner of the Ford Fiesta ST has been drawn, and he's been notified. I've spoken to him on the phone. We're just going to pop it down, get it MOT'd, and we'll do an oil and filters on it for him as well, and we'll drop it off. And it's actually someone local. They just live down the road in Barnstable, so that'll be a nice easy handover. We did have one more appointment today for the Mini. So gentleman coming with his mum to test out the Mini. They're looking to get that as his first car. They were happy. Their only concern was the mum felt that the clutch was on its way out. Now, I think this comes down to having come in a Ford, what are they called? The little 4x4 style Fords. I forget what they're called, the tiny little ones. Anyway, she had, yeah, well, I can't remember what the name of those things are all of a sudden. I'm sure, is it Sport, whatever? God, really lost the Fiesta, little Fiesta-y type ones. Anyway, you'll all be shouting down in the comments what it is. But anyway, she bought that, and only after a couple of months having it, the clutch went on her, and she had the clutch fitted. So now I think she's sort of ultra sensitive to clutches. And she said the clutch feels heavy on that. I think it's on its way out. And I said, well, a couple of things. One, I don't know if anybody here has driven Minis, but the Cooper S's and the Coopers have really heavy clutches. They're like on off. The first time I got one, I thought there was a problem with it. I traded it out. Second time I got one, I thought, God, this is just bad. Third time I got one, oh, this is the way they are. But this one actually isn't at all. This one's fairly light clutch. I'm not sure why she thinks it's heavy. And I demonstrated for her. I'm always polite about these things. So I demonstrated that when I lifted my foot off the clutch, I was probably about 70% up on the clutch before it engaged. Now it's got 95,000 miles on it on a 2013. So will it need clutch? It absolutely probably will need a clutch. But from where I'm feeling at the moment, I think you've got another good 10, 15,000 miles in the clutch before it would need changing. I can't go changing a clutch that is currently okay. I also demonstrated by putting it in third and in fifth and trying to pull away, and the car was stalling. So what that proves is that if the clutch was slipping, it would let the power slip away and the car would still pull away in those higher gears. But it didn't, it just stalled out. And I actually think of all the Minis I've driven, this has got the lightest clutch on it. But I think she's just a bit hypersensitive to clutches. She said, do you know if it's ever been changed? I said, no, because I haven't owned the car. Obviously, I bought it trade. There's no paperwork to say this clutch has been done. But the reality is, if you are buying 12-year-old cars with 95,000 miles on it, you're probably going to have to put a clutch in it. You probably are going to have to put a clutch at some point. You don't need to put a clutch in it now because it works fine. We can't preemptively put one in it when it's working fine. So apparently the family have got Minis, so they're going to go and try something out. And I actively encourage that as well. I said, go and try those Minis, because I think you'll be surprised to find, because they've got Cooper S's, that it's actually quite a lot heavier than the clutch in this. We don't do any pressure selling on here. At the end of the day, if it's not for them, it's not for them. I'm very confident the next person that drives it will find it absolutely fine. Like I say, I've had enough of these now to know that the clutch is good on it. And actually, I do cover clutches with my warranty as well. At the end of the day, within the first 3 months, if the clutch slipped and started playing up, I would look to replace it for a customer unless they'd abused it in some way. I don't think I cover it right up to sort of 6 months, because clutches are a wear and tear material. They're effectively like your brake discs, that they're designed to last for like 100,000 miles. I know some people in the comments are going to be saying no, but the reality is clutch friction plate material wears off. It's designed to wear off, and that's why there's clutches on every single shelf in the country. And when a car gets anywhere between 50 and 100,000 miles, it may well need a clutch. Now, some people are very light on their clutches, and they'll make a clutch last for 150,000 miles. And some other people will ride the clutch, they'll rest their feet on it, they'll wear release bearings and all kinds of things, and they can eat a clutch up in well, someone can actually clutch up in no miles at all, really, if they wanted to. If they were making enough effort, they could burn a clutch out in one afternoon. But yeah, so they are wear and tear, and especially on stuff this age, it's difficult for a dealer to cover a clutch on it. But I'd certainly cover it within the first 3 months if they had any problems. But it wouldn't be a case of I just think it's heavy. It would be a case of it physically slipping and causing issues like that. Again, you can't replace stuff on a £3,000 car. You cannot put a new clutch on it because it just feels a little heavy. You only put a clutch in it if it's slipping and it's losing power. But like I said, I don't actually think, I do have to disagree. I do think this one doesn't actually feel heavy. I know I've got much bigger legs than that, but I've driven enough of these to think this one's okay. But at the end of the day, you don't close them all, and they've got to be confident in what they're buying. So I have no problem with that whatsoever. And like I say, I think it's a very good idea for them to go and try another one and compare it. So not a crazy week for sales, but I think we've done 1 or 2 every single day of the week. So that's not bad. The increase in the volume of stock has certainly helped with that side of things. And to be honest, I probably could have sold more. It's the same old issue of me not actually having half these cars listed, photographed and listed on the website. I'm always behind on that all the time, aren't I? One final thing I'm just going to point out is I don't want to do any more of these. Now you'd think, I said before, I've never actually done one before. But you'd think this would be the easiest sell in the world in North Devon to sell a VW Transporter. I think I've got the price right because I'm getting tons and tons of messages on it. But everyone who's interested in them seems to not be very, how do I describe it? Not very committed to it. I think they like the idea. The sun's come out. They like the idea of having a transporter. They like the idea of having it as a camper van. And they never kind of want the van itself. It's always, is it fully carpeted out? Has it got insulation in it? Has it got any power in it? And all these things are quite clear in the advert that it hasn't, by the way. Has it got aircon? It's like, well, no, it hasn't got aircon. It's not listed and it's not a dashboard. Has it got? So I've never had, well, I've had other vehicles that had this level of interest. I get messages on it every single day, but no one seems to be very committed to actually buying one. It's just the idea of buying one. I think a lot of evenings spent browsing Facebook Marketplace and so forth with dreams of camping out by the beach every night. Again, it might be just that I'm spoilt because with the type of cars I do in the majority of the time being the small commuter cars, those kind of people, they've come to me because the car's been written off, they've come to me because their car's failed MOT, they've come to me because it's their first car, or they've decided they really do need a second car in the family to get around. They seem to be fairly committed people. If they come along, I'd say the conversion rate's like 95% on those type of people. It's not an emotional buy, it's a practical buy. I need something that's got a small engine, I need something that's got low road tax, 5 doors, I need to be able to insure my daughter on it as well as drive it myself, those kind of things. Or I need to be able to fit the dogs in the back of it. Anything that I find, if you sell anything that's kind of lifestyle and it's not actually desperately needed, you do get to spend an awful lot of time mucking around with people. So power to all you people out there that sell the interesting stuff, because you must spend an awful lot of time dealing with I don't want to call them time wasters, because I don't suppose anybody's really a time waster if they're inquiring about your stock, but deal with people that, let's just say, that aren't really sale ready. Anyway, I'm going to list the final few cars, trying to get that finished off. And I shall see you on the next one when I will be releasing our next raffle car, which is going to be the 106 GTI, which I'd show you, but it's covered up because Pete's been doing dirty stuff next door. So we need to pull that out, give it a clean, and we'll have a little chat about getting that raffle started. Massive thanks to everyone who got involved in that one. And we'll get our donation over to Torrington Food Bank. Oh, and hopefully on one of the next videos, we should see the Range Rover that I've bought in my challenge against Jamie from Carkey in buying a Range Rover under £15,000. If you missed the last video where I mentioned that, I'll put a link to his video in, there's an image, I'll put an image of it up here, and I'll put a link to it down there. So basically I've challenged one of the biggest, most legendary car dealers in the country to find the best Range Rover he can for less than the price of a brand new Dacia Spring, and we're going to have an independent person decide who's made the best purchase. He's shown us his purchase on his video. I haven't got mine in yet, and he hasn't seen mine yet, and mine's quite different end of the spectrum. So yeah, I'll hopefully show you that soon. As always, massive thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.